So, I am Deborah Mallow, your ray of sunshine, author of the book 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. And I am so excited to be on Matthew Gray's podcast, 50 Tastes of Gray. Woohoo! You are the best host ever. Somebody else said shades of gray. I said, I have to figure out a way to do that.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Deborah, are you ready to begin?
I'm ready to begin.
So exciting. What part of the world are you in?
So I live in New York City in Manhattan. I love New York. Well, here I am. I live on the Upper East Side on 77th. I grew up here. If you could tell by my accent, I grew up in Manhattan and I love it here. I know we get a bad rap and whatever, but
Do you drive?
my job before I did this for myself was I worked for Johnson & Johnson as a pharmaceutical rep.
I'm sure the statute of limitations has run out, but did you ever sample any of the goodies when you were a pharmaceutical rep?
You know what? Well, first I did Neutrogena. So yes, we got to, of course, use the products. But then I did a specialty drug and it was specific to something that I don't have. So no, I did not sample. I'm probably a goody two shoes, I sort of follow rules. Even with you, you ask me for something, it's there. This is who I am. I show up and I have a moral compass. So what can I say?
Wow. I've spent a lot of time in New York. As a matter of fact, I was born in New York.
Oh.
I was a Syosset boy until the age of 10.
Uh-huh.
And then my family moved to Los Angeles. They didn't tell me right away, but I caught up with them eventually. You've been in New York your whole life. On the Upper East Side, that's kind of a fancy schmancy part of town.
I tell you, it's not trendy anymore. It's more like Soho, Brooklyn. Oh,
Deborah, let's start this show by asking you, what happened on the subway platform way back when?
okay. So I was your classic overachiever. I just always wanted to do well. From I was in school, in my business, when I was a farmer rep, and it took a toll because constantly pushing yourself, chasing goals, checking boxes, trying to be the best, I burnt out and exhausted. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't sleeping right. I had this epiphany on this New York City subway platform. Actually, tears welled up in my eyes, Matthew. And I just said, if I don't change something, nothing will ever change. And that's when I started to write a guidebook just for myself, part pep talk, part survival manual.
The subway platform really has very little to do with your headspace at that time. So it wasn't one of the co-stars in this whole scenario. It was just you had a little bit of a breakdown while you were at the subway platform, and that's what transitioned you.
But I think because I was just standing there, I was able to sort of just think. And it just hit me because everybody has a moment in their life, or most people have a moment where they come to terms with whatever it is they need to face. Some people don't do anything about it, but I'm a problem solver. So yes, the subway platform sort of was the perfect place to do this, if you ask me, being in New York, everything. I was always an overachiever from when I was 10 years old. I remember setting that internal alarm so that I could get up to finish a book report. Now, what 10-year-old does that? So this was many years later. I, past college, past working for myself. I was in a design and licensing business. I did that with my husband and then transitioned to pharma sales. And now I'm in the positive energy space and helping people get unstuck. So it's sort of been this thing that followed me my whole life. Maybe because I'm this big, I'm very teeny. Maybe I need to prove myself or something. I don't know. I just like to figure things out myself. But there you have it, Matthew.
The sound in your background just brought me back. It was a very sentimental moment. I heard the sirens rushing through the streets behind you. And so that just brought me right back to New York City.
I don't even hear it anymore.
Those are the sounds of the city. I mean, you can't deny that.
I live near hospitals, so well, that's the other good thing about even aging in New York City. Lots of hospitals all around you if you ever need them.
Right.
Always look on the bright side of things.
I want to ask you a little bit about the word overachiever. A lot of people use that to describe themselves the same way that people might use the word perfectionist.
Yes.
We know that perfection doesn't exist. Perhaps overachiever is just a way to say that someone was stressed throughout their lives and was always overthinking and is kind of like a little bit amped up. Is that something that would be fair to describe your personality?
I think for me, what I mean by overachiever is I didn't just do something. I did something. So if I was going to work on whatever it is, I had to do it not to the best of my ability, but to the uber best of my ability, better than anyone else, I guess was what I did. But I wasn't competing with anyone else ever. I was always just doing it for myself, maybe probably to prove something that I could do it. I have learned to balance. I've learned boundaries. I learned to enjoy the moments because that's what was happening. I wasn't enjoying my life. And that was one of the things that really got me down when I was standing on that subway platform. Wanted to enjoy more, worry less, and balance.
Do you think that there was a moment when that was happening where you said, I'm leaving this, I'm quitting, and I'm going to get into a more natural or positive state? Or were you continuing to work on your job after you were having that kind of big moment?
That guidebook that I was writing for me, that turns into my book, 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck, that really helped me because I asked myself questions. I came up with strategies, action items, tips. I read about what other people did in similar situations. And the best part, I researched the science, the why behind what I did and why I did it. Not just me, but human beings in general. And boy, did it help. Because when you make a choice to change and you really want something that much, you make it your business to do it. It's not easy, as you know. Change is not easy, but we can control our thoughts, our actions, our emotions. And just realizing that, even though you know it, it's actually putting this into practice. Because honestly, who are we doing this for?
I know that a lot of people who are into self-help and positivity and so on create routines for themselves. So I would ask you, when you first wake up in the morning, because I know that's a biggie, is there a routine that you put yourself through?
I get up and look in the mirror and I give myself this big smile because you maybe know, smiling is gifting happiness. And when you smile, it makes you feel good. And then I hug myself because we really have to learn to accept ourselves, to be kind to ourselves, to talk to ourselves like a good friend. And then I say some positive words to myself, which I continue to say throughout the day. I try to control my controllables, and that is one of the controllables. Our brains thrive on patterns. So the more we make these positive patterns, positive habits, they start to stick. And then we crave them because who doesn't like to feel good? So instead of creating a negative cycle, we're creating a positive one. And this isn't hooey. It really works. Don't discredit the strategy, I always say to people, until you try it.
So your book lays out 6 steps. And so we know what your first step is in the morning. The first thing you do upon awakening is look at yourself in the mirror and you smile. Tell us what another step in your book might be.
It starts with the decision. So the decision relates to what we just talked about in the morning. That's the first step. And then the second is ditch bad habits, which of course we're getting rid of the negative because let's face it, the sunshine can't get in if the windows are dirty, right? It's simple. And then we
Good
go
metaphor.
into mindset because it's all about the story we tell ourselves, right? So why don't we want it to be positive? positive attracts positive. It's like people manifesting and all. It's not like it's going to happen from wishful thinking. You have to put effort into it. And then it's the action. And after the action is the attitude. And then I end it with the commitment, because let's face it, lasting change doesn't happen. It's not from wishful thinking. It's daily choice. And so it all is circular.
When you say ditch unhealthy habits, what's one habit you had that you actually dropped, and how did you do that?
Negative talk track. I could give you all of them. The negative talk track, worrying incessantly, not believing in myself, even though I was so capable and I was winning all these awards. I would focus not on all the 10 things I did so wonderfully in a day. I would focus on the one thing that didn't meet my expectations. It was all those things that keep us stuck. And I'm not the only one. So many people, I was encouraged to get this book out because so many people do these kind of things. And you know what's interesting? I know you'll come back to your question. Something that one of the studies I read out of Penn State, they had participants and they asked them about their worries and everything. And do you know 91% of the things that those people in the study worried about never happened? I don't worry anymore because I can't predict the future. It's only hurting me and making me unhappy.
Because we cannot predict the future, you're saying that putting yourself in a positive frame of mind is at least the best thing you can do, because you can't affect the future either except your approach to it.
Beautifully said, Matthew.
Okay.
I say it's not about forcing positivity. It's about approaching life differently. And you said it beautifully.
How much time did you get to spend during the transition from that moment on the subway platform to the time that the book actually made it to publishing?
Oh, it was years and years, probably 8 years, till, because I wanted to make sure that what I was sharing outward, not perfectionism as much as I wanted to put out something quality. I put it together. I designed the insides. I just wanted to cover all the things that humans struggle with, because we have different lives, yes, and different struggles, but they're basic things that we all struggle with. And it is confidence. It is imposter syndrome. It is negativity or not feeling we're good enough, or just all the things, until we actually make the decision to change and we accept ourselves and we stop with the judgment, judging ourselves, judging other people. You know, I really try to accept others, but I also have learned, Matthew, to step back from people that are toxic, people that you can't control others. You can't make them change. And if we're taking care of ourselves, we owe it to ourselves not to be mean to anyone. I would never do that. But if somebody or something doesn't serve us, I urge everybody, think about it and think about getting it out of your life, because we deserve to live the best life we can, because life is short. It's messy. It'll never be perfect. And there's no magic bullet. But we can make it. We can have fewer days that suck and reconnect. We can if we choose to.
Walk me through your reset strategy or your reset sequence in a step-by-step fashion so we can all get a taste of that.
Absolutely. We all feel stressed. That anxiety starts to creep in for whatever reason. So I stop, and I do this for anger, because I used to get angry. Oh my God, but now I control it really well. So I stop, I pause, I think about it before going down the rabbit hole. Is that easy? No. But like I said, our brains love patterns. The more we practice this, it's better to respond, not react. So there's a difference. You react and emotions just take over. You respond, you think about it first. So I really stop myself before going down a rabbit hole, and I breathe. No, that's trite, but it really helps. And if I can, and I have the luxury of a little time, what I do is I would take a walk. I would have a cup of tea. I would listen to something funny, think of a joke, say a positive couple of words to myself, anything to reset my mind so that I don't have a full unravel. You really need to be aware of what you're doing, of what's happening, of the triggers, things that trigger us, what might trigger your anger, or I don't think you get angry, but what might trigger somebody else's anger is different than maybe what would trigger mine. And somehow, sometimes family members or parents, they can get under your skin. But if you are aware of it and you sort of let it go, because the whole thing is if you don't, then you have to apologize later. You feel badly. So I try to fix that so I don't feel badly and I don't have to apologize later. I just don't act.
If you're feeling anger in a particular moment, Deborah, and you try switching it off, doesn't it appear to the person you're angry with that maybe you're withdrawing a little bit and that it makes it that much more difficult to communicate?
Actually, no. And I practice it a lot with my husband. And sometimes I just walk away because it's not worth the energy. And so I don't think it appears, but I'll ask him, I don't think it appears that I'm withdrawing.
If I'm your friend, which I am, or you're your husband, which I'm not, and I'm saying something that perhaps you feel angry with and you walk away, that's exactly what I just referenced. It seems like you're withdrawing if you walk away from me when I'm trying to communicate.
It's a choice, right? I understand what you're saying. I just say, does it really matter? Sometimes I engage, but not confrontationally.
Right.
I won't do that anymore because it eats up my energy. It makes me unhappy. And then I have to apologize later, or I feel guilty, or whatever kind of emotions happen because you reacted in a way that you're not proud of. And that's what I choose to do. It's not that I walk away as like I'm dismissing you. It's more like, I don't want to do this. I don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. It's not helping any of us to do it. I rather come out of a place of love and kindness and give more joy. What matters? The people you love, your health, that you're a good person and kind to people. Those things matter. So many of the other trivial things don't. And so if you focus on that, it really does follow you, and change is really possible, especially if you're doing this for you and we're doing this for ourselves. Just enjoy more. Not perfect, just a little better.
When you find yourself in a negative loop, and we all get into those, what exact words do you say to yourself to break free?
I just stop myself immediately. I don't go down the rabbit hole anymore. And it's really the truth. Just like worrying, I might think about it for a minute and then I stop. I do something else. I focus on something else, my work, client, whatever it is that's a more positive, productive approach, because all of that is not productive. It's not serving us. And I know people could hear this and say, I don't really believe it. But honestly, I wasn't doing this for anyone else. I was doing this for me, because when we care about ourselves enough, that it just helps in every other part of our lives. And people want to be around you. People don't want to be around negative people. They might tolerate you, but nobody has time for that. And I try to lift people up so I'm more fun to be around. And when you're fun, just like your podcast, I listen to a lot of them, it's endorphin boosting. So I try to do things that I know are going to boost my endorphins. It just picks me up. I like to be with friends that lift me up, and making a conscious decision to do things that serve you, that are going to lift you up and boost your endorphins, is what it's about. And believe me, I'm so much happier for it. And it really does work. And some people do therapy, however it works for you, but nobody should be living with dread, unhappy, miserable. I know certain situations you're stuck in, there's some bad things going on, but in general, we owe it to ourselves to just figure out a way to just be a little bit happier.
You have your book on your desktop there that you can show everybody. 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck.
Unhealthy habits. And unzip, there's a zipper here, a happier you. Not the happiest you, a happier you.
Was this breakthrough for your life something that you experienced while you were married?
Well, I was always very energetic, always that way. I tend to be a very outgoing, sparkly kind of person. Even when I was feeling a bit down, I would always put on a good front. But inside was, you know what? I think, he's fine with it. My husband's very low key. We've been married quite a few years. He can't goad me into getting angry anymore or fighting or anything like that. I won't go there. I just won't.
Do you tell him, like, get zen when he gets angry or gets upset? Do you just have him mellow out a little bit?
I just tell him what really matters. Honestly, the things I said to you are really what I do in my everyday life. And you know what? The funny thing is, he realizes it. And also, a lot of times, like with him, if he needs to eat, because he's diabetic, if he needs to eat, that affects his reaction and everything. And you have to be honest with people in order for a relationship to work. And if you can't be honest with each other, then what kind of relationship is it?
I love that advice that you just gave when someone's upset. You say, just go eat. So that's something my mom would always say to us. I can relate to that. When you're sad, Deborah, I know that's probably not very often based on your personality. What meal do you reach for? And what's the story behind it?
There's something about a sandwich that just I adore. And one of my favorites is turkey and cranberry sauce. It's like Thanksgiving on a sandwich.
Right.
And oh my God, I love it. I mean, I love food in general. That's why I love to travel too, because I love sampling all kinds of foods. But give me a good sandwich, boy, I'm going to smile.
Because we're doing this right before Thanksgiving, a great sandwich to take the Thanksgiving leftovers is to make little patties from your stuffing as if they were bread slices, then put in your turkey and your cranberries and cover it with a little bit of gravy and just have at it.
Right, that you're the chef. Of course, that sounds awesome. I'm doing it.
Good. I figured you would.
I'll take a picture. Send it to you.
Speaking of food even more, what have you eaten today, Deborah?
So I tend to be not typical. I had a lamb
sandwich.
I had a lamb chop for breakfast and carrots.
Okay, that's good.
I really enjoy that. So I had that for breakfast. And then I had some vegetables. We have asparagus and different things in the fridge with a piece of mozzarella cheese. And I had that as lunch.
Are you the one who cooks at the house, or do you buy food and bring it in, or how does that work?
When we're home, we cook. And actually, I cooked the lamb chops on Sunday. And I'm really conscious. Like I had a kiwi the other day. I go, this is eating happiness, because it's really, really true. One thing I know is, if you're tired, eat an orange. An orange, I mean, I understand people are diabetic and certain things you have to limit. But if you eat an orange, I'm not talking drink orange juice, eat the orange.
Just a side note, Deborah, your husband has diabetes, type 1 or type 2?
2.
Okay. I've been helping people for the past 5.5 years as to how to beat diabetes type 2. So if there's anyone out there who's watching us right now, and Deborah, I'm speaking to you, if there's anything I can do to help him out, I will, as far as the food intake and so on, and perhaps get him off of any meds he might be on.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not a doctor, but I know a hell of a lot about this particular issue.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's our lucky day.
So, Deborah, you have the Positive Energy Club. What is that all about, and how do people get aboard?
Go to my website, thedailydecisions.com, and decisions with an S. And if you go to thedailydecisions.com/inspire, you could sign up for the Positive Energy Club. It's free. And you get my newsletter every other week, which helps you get rid of the grumpies, little activities you can do to make you feel better. And then you can also download worksheets on feel-good activities, motivation, and happiness, because everybody needs, when you have these little words or little things that you can do, and it's there in front of you and you do it, then you start to feel good. And then again, the brain thrives on patterns. So you start to create these patterns that stick. And sometimes it's just a simple little tweak that makes the biggest difference.
Do you find that there have been people in your life since you transitioned into this positive world that think maybe people who are very, very perky are as off-putting as somebody who's very, very negative? Do you ever kind of get that, like, oh, she's so perky, she makes me crazy?
You know, it's interesting. Probably nobody said it to my face. And I'm not always on. I know how to chill too. When I'm different shows and stuff, I want to bring the energy. I'm always upbeat, but I'm not on. Like when I'm with my friends, we talk and we chat, and it's not like, oh, this is so great all the time. Oh. No, I'm not like that. But I can see how some people, especially, I had this yesterday, this woman, she wouldn't be listening. She is so.
Let's get her on the phone and let her know what you're going to say here.
But she's negative, and the siren again, so negative. And I just said, because she said, don't use that perky stuff on me.
So what, she's like very invested into being down and depressed, or she just can't handle someone who's a little bit a higher level?
She's just always been really negative. And her life, the way it is, speaks to that, because you could understand why people run from her. And that's what I was talking about with, it's one thing to be perky, but it's another thing to be negative all the time. People don't want to be around it. So I just, I said, sorry, I don't feel well, and we'll chat another time. I politely excused myself and walked away, because the funny thing is, I had gone down to our lobby to do something for my husband, and I saw her, and another woman said, are you coming up? We're going to chat on the elevator. I said, no, I want to just talk to this other person for a minute. So I actually tried to put myself out there. And then I thought, that's so icky feeling that all she wants to do is be negative. I didn't get that. I just thought, I'm not judging her. I just felt badly that she has to be negative all the time, because she can't feel good inside if you feel down all the time. It's just not that good kind of upbeat feeling.
So much comedy is based on the negative, angry stereotype out there, the neurotic ones, the Woody Allens and the Larry Davids and so on. Why do you think that is? Why do we find so much humor in those kind of people?
I love that question. I mean, Larry David, it's just really, really funny. And I guess maybe it's cathartic in its own way, just losing it, because we try to be a little more reserved. A lot of us, or some of us, I can't judge how many people, maybe can't or don't or lose it or get unhinged. But when we see it, I think it is cathartic in a way. And it is funny, though, I don't know, on TV or in the theater, it's funny. But somehow when it's happening in real life, it's scary.
It happens all the time, right?
I see it in New York City. I see crazy stuff going on. It's true. And I love your backdrop. I love that wine and eat.
Oh, a painting right there. Yeah. Lynn did, my girl. And the eat right there, that's my former eat license plate for my Hawaii food tours that I had for 16 years from 2004 to 2020 when the COVID shit show happened. I'm still getting over that. And the little New York Yankee gnome right there. He's a magical dude who's a Yankees fan. And you can see that.
Yes.
And so, that's what you're seeing in the backdrop there. And then there's a painting up here. The kitty cat here.
I love it.
That's Berna Teriyaki.
Huh.
She's one of our two kitties. And Lynn also painted that. So Berna sits here with me right next to me at night when I do all my editing of the podcast. She has the co-pilot's chair and I have the pilot's chair. And that's what we do together.
Oh, it's nice to have things that you look forward to. It's really important to have that. And people around you that you love, whether animals, people, whatever, it's just very heartwarming. It makes you feel good.
Everybody's got a kind of a different thing. My thing has always been creativity.
Yes.
Through food, through entertaining people. Other people are into the business thing. And I think that that's fantastic too. So as long as you devote yourself, your heart and soul to whatever it is that you do, I think it's a great thing.
Right?
Deborah, let's wrap it up. by once again finding out the name of your website and how people can get a hold of you and pick up the book.
Okay, yes. Pick up the book, 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck by Deborah Mallow. Me. Woohoo! And the website is The Daily Decisions, Decisions with an S, and thedailydecisions.com/inspire to join the Positive Energy Club and get the worksheets, etc. And even if you typed in deborahmallow.com or 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck.com, it would all go to the same place.
If I typed in marshmallow, would I still get you? That'd be Deborah Mallow.
No, do you know, Matthew, you'll like this. I did have an Aunt Marcia.
Oh, you're kidding.
Divorce out, but Marcia Mallow. People used to laugh. She was actually a psychologist too, but she used to get ribbed all the time with that name. So cute.
It makes sense. You know, she probably didn't handle all that attention because of the name. And so she became a psychologist. That makes perfect sense.
Doesn't? And actually, she became a psychologist afterwards. You figured that out.
You know, the most screwed up people become psychologists and psychiatrists, right? I mean, you have to live it to really help others with it.
Well, that's it. That's very, very interesting. Yeah, I got into this, and I'm not a therapist, but because I wanted to help myself, there you go. So try to figure it out. It's good to be able to help yourself and then help others. Why not?
You have to go through it and then be able to look over your shoulder and see what's behind you and see how you got to where you are now. And when you do that, you can move forward with whatever your endeavors might be.
You said it. Isn't that the truth? Yep.
Do me a favor. Do a off-the-cuff promo for your appearance here on the show. Let everybody know who you are, who I am, the name of the show, and we'll do something fun with it.
That sounds like so much fun. Woohoo! So, I am Deborah Mallow, your ray of sunshine, author of the book 6 Steps to Fewer Days That Suck. And I am so excited to be on Matthew Gray's podcast, 50 Tastes of Gray. Woohoo! You are the best host ever!
I admire your fine taste, and thank you very much.
Somebody else said shades of gray.
And don't think I named the show not knowing that was going to happen. So it's a provocative kind of thing that people hear and they have fun with, and I have fun with it as well.
But what I love is how you say that it's humor, mischief, it's a bit flirty. You're able to wrap all of that in there and connection. The way you describe it is 100% accurate. And it does bring on the curiosity because you are a very curious person. I mean, how could you do this without being curious? And you ask really good questions.
It was really a pleasure getting to meet you face to face like this and to be able to chat as we did. So thank you for visiting with me here on 50 Tastes of Gray.
Yes, it was such a pleasure. Thank you, Matthew. Aloha, audience. Thank you so much, Matthew. This has been a pleasure. Happy Thanksgiving.